You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
Yo, what up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello. That's Sean. Tonight, we've got a good show planned for you. TJ is supposed to join us. We'll see if he joins us here shortly. But in the time being, I believe we have some news that we can possibly talk about. So I think we're good on topic for now. But first off, Mello, how was your day, my dude?
Man, it was great. I watched the celebration. Oddly enough, there was somebody missing. I got a text from my cousin who went, and it was like, man, Jim's not here. And I'm like, that's odd. What do you mean he's not here? They're like, never mind. I think I see somebody with a beard standing next to Mike Doss. So that we thought he was there, and then the news broke.
Yeah. Wow, man. Sean, how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Got to spend the day with my daughter. Freaking the celebration was awesome, but then I jumped on a Johnny Oden podcast and they broke it during that. So that was like a double gut punch right there. So
yeah,
watching those clowns start talking all kinds of smacks, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. You know, man, my internet's out at the home. So as you can tell, I look a little bit different today, going off the old phone for now. So we'll see if that stays good, you know, connection, the whole 9 yards. But yeah, some tough news, man. Jim Knowles is now a Penn State Nittany Lion, or whatever you call them, the kitties over there. Definitely a lot of emotions running through, you know, my head when I first heard about it. I didn't believe it. And, you know, Mello texted me and I was like, I don't believe it. He's like, you better believe it. I'm like, nah, man, I still ain't going to believe it. Well, I believe it now. You know, my first reaction is that thank you, Jim Knowles. You know what I mean? For giving us the national title, giving us the 3 years. And I don't know. I'm just not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. I know there's a lot of people out there saying like F Jim Knowles, and I'm not mad at you if you feel that way either. But I don't know. He did a lot for us. You know, gave us the #1 defense in the nation, brought us a national title. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm not mad. So I want to get to your guys' opinions on it, on like where you're at emotionally right now and how you feel. I also want to say before we get into it that we are the Ohio State University. We're going to be just fine. We're going to be okay, right? We're going to talk about solutions as well, what we think is going to happen and the whole 9 yards. But let's start off with emotions. Mello, where are you at in your head?
First off, I want to salute Jim Knowles. Thanks for the natty. I appreciate you for turning the defense around for 3 years and putting us forward to be this unstoppable force and on a dynastic run and rise right now. Other than that, that's where it stops. Jim Knowles, you went to the ops like you went to a rival school of ours. The way you left, from what I'm hearing, by telling players that you were coming back and then ghosting the staff after they put out an offer to make you the highest DC. Paid DC in America as well, and you just ghosted them and you didn't even show up to the Natty celebration, you're pretty much dead to me. And come November 1st, I can't wait until they treat you like they did Oregon at the Rose Bowl. Have fun trying to stop SFE, the wide receivers, because they're coming. Your defense does not have the same players that Ohio State's defense had last year or even this year, in my opinion. There's no Abdul Carter over there. You wanted to run that jack, and you have an ego problem. Whether it's true that you're upset that you went into the fryer by day when he gave you a dressing down against Oregon, and it was a terrible gameplay. We all knew it. Everybody said it. And if you're in your feelings about that, that's your problem, your prerogative. That means you have you weren't the man to be in Columbus. Also, if you're mad at the GOAT LJ for not wanting the 3 down linemen, we didn't recruit that way. We recruited 4 down linemen. That's what it is. You tried to run the stupid Jack here multiple times, and you actually went for Jack Sawyer. Like, out of all the people to make a Jack, you used Jack Sawyer. It was dumb. It didn't work. Like, and if you feel some type of way, you feel some type of way. We don't care. Now, his sister doesn't need to take the abuse. I do respect her because she's standing in the paint all day on Twitter. But, Jim, you're dead to me, and I can't wait until we run into you November 1st.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're definitely going to dive into that, too. Starting off with the feelings, and we're going to dive in. I really want to talk about why he left. I want to dive into that, too, and then we'll dive into what do we think's about to happen. But, Mello, normally we're on the same page. We're not on the same page here, and I'm guessing I'm going to be the minority here. I'm guessing a lot of people agree with you, Mello, on Jim Knowles. You're dead to me. I'm just not there with it. I'm just not, because of what he did. He won us a natty and the whole 9 yards, and I get that he went to Penn State. Maybe if he would have went, everybody's talking about Penn State's our rival. I don't look at him like that because we beat him. We smash him. We're going to smash him again, dude. This is Jim Knowles' loss. That's not a lateral move. It's not an upward move. It's hey, man, he went down big time, if you ask me. But I'm just grateful for what he did. I think that, the way that he left, kind of slimy. If he really did ghost the staff and then not show up to a natty celebration, like, bro, everybody's thrown for a loop right now. Recruits, parents, parents of current players on the team, they're all in shock. But Sean, where are you at emotionally? Screw Jim Knowles. Thank you, Jim Knowles. What are your words?
50-50 right there, because first I want to say thank you for bringing us a natty. Heck of a job this year. But the way, if you're telling these kids that you're coming back, and you just be a man about it. If you're not coming back, tell them, kids. Don't do them dirty like that. And that's the way I feel. I feel like he kind of, did it slimy, and what? Screw him. He's gone. Once you leave the program, man, you're dead to us.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. I got
it.
it.
And it's the way. It's not so much that he left the program, it's how he left it.
Exactly.
You could tell by the Twitter interaction from these players. They had no idea he was leaving. And this is after the celebration. So I'm wondering when they showed up to walk out, if no one was like, where's Jim at? Where's Jim? And what was said about that. The fact that he did that, any current player on Ohio State, let me tell you something. If you're thinking about following him, I wouldn't. Look how he did you. He's untrustworthy. You cannot trust that man. If he told you he was coming back and then he did pull what he pulled, he's untrustworthy. So let him go over in Penn State and rot where he's at in Happy Valley, which is not going to be happy for him. It's going to be Sad Valley. I mean, he'll be happy when he opens up his bank account, obviously, but I don't see them winning a natty next year. You still have James Franklin, and you still have that QB, Drew Allar, who lost the game against Notre Dame, saying he threw the ball away. But how'd you throw the ball away and you threw it like chest height, way too in front of your wide receiver? Like, all right, whatever. You still don't have any wide receivers over there, and we're still going to smack you.
Yeah.
If you're Jim Knowles, aren't you asking Tom Allen, why were you only there for a year? Why'd you take off? Tom Allen did a great job there as our defensive coordinator. I mean, their defense was so well improved, and they made the the playoffs, and all of a sudden he bolts. Why did that guy leave? I mean, got to ask yourself,
Yeah.
James Franklin, why are you gonna, hitch your wagon to him? But
Yeah. Appreciate you, Larry, for gifting a membership to the Buckeye Boys. We appreciate any support y'all give. Again, we do this channel because of y'all. We appreciate our loyal listeners in here every single night. So now, this is the one that intrigues me the most, because I've heard so many different things. I'm on all the message boards. I've heard all the shows, everything, and that's why. Why did Jim Knowles leave? Well, the first question, or the first one that would pop up, would be money. It's not money. Ohio State offered him the same amount, so it's not money. Okay, so the second things come into place. A better job, moving up. That's not it. He went to Penn State. James Franklin is becoming, I dislike him more and more every single year. I just think he's a clown. I'm just going to keep it real with you. Not personally. Actually, he kind of is personally. He's like a clown, dude. I mean, have you watched some of his press conferences, the one where he would get up, they would ask him a question, he just walked away without saying anything because they were asking about that one player. He's just a clown, man. But so that's not it. He didn't go get a better job somewhere. And then we come down to this. He got there's this rumor out there. No, let me hit this one first. So this third one that people are grasping onto is that he left because of the fans, because of how crazy we are here as fan bases. I think that's a joke of a take. That's hilarious to me to think that a player or a coach who does this for a living, this is what they do professionally. He's not leaving because anything to do with the fans. I mean, in the press conferences, I think that, I think, he acted surprised when he heard that the fan base was even talking about him. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's it either. Then you go to him and Jim Knowles and Larry Johnson, Ryan Day just didn't get along, right? Now that's another one that I want to lead towards, but I'll just tell you fellows where I'm at. This is where I'm at with it. I don't think anybody knows. I think Jim Knowles is kind of an oddball, right? And that's not in a negative way. We all know he's a little bit different of a person. So I think the only person that knows is Jim Knowles. I mean, it could be for whatever reason. He just wanted somewhere new, whatever. I think we're digging. I think people are going to keep digging and digging and digging and come up with answers. I mean, it's just hard for me to believe that a coaching staff that didn't get along at that level can have the number one defense in the nation go win a national title. Now, was there disagreements? I'm sure there were, but I just don't buy that he left because him and LJ didn't get along or him and Ryan Day didn't get along, or I just don't buy that, right? I don't think anybody really actually knows. I just think, sometimes people just make a decision. Jim Knowles is a little different. We know that. That's my take on it, right? Now, we're probably about to hear three different takes, but Mello.
I mean, your take is the most realistic. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Your take is probably the most realistic. I believe that he just did some slimy stuff. He told everybody he was coming back, and then he ghosted them and left. He has a personal issue with LJ. He didn't like getting called out by Coach Day, which means he has an ego problem. I didn't take him as a type of guy that would have an ego problem. And plus, he gets to go home. Okay, fine, to all of them. But, I mean, if you lied to these kids, man, I don't know how you look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, honestly, you know what? Thing I could think is, besides the LJ thing, he is from Pennsylvania. If you wanted to go home and be closer, go back home and be closer to home, and be honest about it, man. Don't lie to people. Just be a man about it. Say, hey, thanks for the opportunity, but I'm going somewhere else. Everybody be happy with it. Everybody be fine, but don't pull what you pulled, man.
Right.
Yeah, dang, dude. The more I think about this, the more that, he told players he was coming back. He doesn't show up to the Natty celebration. This stuff comes out the day that we're trying to celebrate our national title. These players are trying to celebrate their national title. And, he doesn't even show up. And, oh, boy, that's rough for me to stay with my take of, thank you, Jim. That's just rough, man.
No, we got to say thank you. We won a Natty for the first time in 10 years. But two things could be simultaneously true. You could be happy that he brought us a Natty, but we could also think that he's a snake for how he handled this situation. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, I guess where I was at is I wasn't thinking he was a snake. I was just thinking he made a decision that was best for him, and he just moved on. But the more I keep hearing, the more I want to lean towards that. But I'm still not there. I just, Jim gave us a national title. If he wants to move on, he's a grown man. He made a decision that was best for himself and his family, and more power to you, Jim Knowles. And here's the main reason why I feel that way. Because we're the Ohio State. We're going to be just fine, man. We're going to be fine, dude. You know what I'm saying? And you have all these takes out there now. We heard Ryan Day talk about Matt Guerrieri, one of the brightest minds in, college football. And that's leading a lot of people to believe, Matt Guerrieri going to be the defensive coordinator, right? My pick, my take, I want Coach Walt, bro. I want Coach Walt, dude. Matt Guerrieri is my information, unless I'm wrong, has never been a defensive coordinator somewhere. I know he's been a co-defensive coordinator, but maybe I'm wrong. Don't have the right information. But I also say this. I wouldn't, if they promoted Matt Guerrieri as defensive coordinator, I'm not going to complain at all. You know what I mean? My vote is Coach Walt. Either one of those two, I think we have an in-house person that can come do this, keep the position coaches together, keep the players together, the whole 9 yards. What y'all's take?
I agree. I think we go with either Coach Walt or Guerrieri. I honestly think it's going to be Guerrieri because you don't change the defense. And defense is already in place, so you don't have to worry about it. All your coaches are still in place, and there's no changes. So it's kind of like plug and play, basically.
So I'm in the chat, they're saying Matt was a defensive coordinator at Indiana. I always thought he was He was the defensive coordinator.
One good thing about it, though, when we played Indiana that year, they did a heck of a job against us with an under-talented team. They gave us fits, and that's why, Ryan Day was happy to bring them over.
Then why did Matt leave that DC job to come be a safeties coach? Is it because Indiana hired the new coach?
No, he left on his own because he wanted to come back over here. He never really wanted to leave. So we hired Perry Eliano, and I have my reasons and suspicions on why they did that. But they hired him, and they met Matt G, a GA guy. So he left so that way he could get paid, went to Indiana, got that experience. Then Jim pushed hard to bring Matt back. We fired Perry Eliano. He couldn't even land his cousin. His blood cousin. I don't care if they were close or not. Like, that's bloodline. You have the same genetic material running through your veins. Couldn't land him, so he had to leave. So we brought Matt G back. Now, from what I'm understood, what I've been told and what I've been researching is Matt G has a firm grasp of the Jim Knowles system. So the reason I would probably put Matt G over OG Walt is because, one, you keep Matt G from going to Penn State and helping teach that system, because that means Jim Knowles, that's all he's going to be able to do is really run through that system teaching. He has to teach everybody. It's going to take them a couple of years. They're in win now mode. So you remember when he came here, our defense took a step back, and then it started making small steps forward. So if their defense takes a step back with an offense that perturbed, I don't see them winning a natty. So they're all coming back for no reason. Two, he knows the system. You don't have to change the system. So you've already recruited players to fit in this system, and you could keep the same system. Now, if they promote OG Walt, I'm also fine with that because he can recruit and he knows the system. I just don't know if he knows the system better than Matt G.
What kind of system would he try to run? You know what I mean? That's another question we got to try to figure out.
I don't think they're going to change the system unless they go out and get a whole new coach, but then you're going to have to get a whole new staff. And then Day's going to be like, whoever he brings in, well, you got to keep OG Walt. He's a legend, and he's recruiting his tail off. You got to keep Laurinaitis. He's a legend. He's recruiting his tail off. I mean, so, like, that leaves you to what? Fire Matt G? No, I don't know how you could go outside. I think you have to promote from within to keep this thing running as smooth as possible.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll start off by saying that Coach Day earned my trust. Whatever he wants to do, I'm on board with what he wants to do. What I would like to see is what y'all are saying, keep it in-house, right? And I've heard several people say that Matt G is the only option in-house, and it just kind of catches me. I don't like saying that because he's not. Right. You know, we got another coach that was a defensive coordinator as well. Now, like I said, either option. Matt Guerrieri, if what is being said, how brilliant this dude is, I mean, he knows Jim Knowles' system, the whole 9 yards. Like, I'm all about it. Make him the defensive coordinator. But, I just want to keep in mind, dude, Coach Walt's an OG. He's been around the game a long time. He's got a lot of respect from a lot of people. He knows the game in and out. He was a coordinator at the highest level of football. So, and he's been with Coach Knowles this whole time at Ohio State, as well. So he's going to know the system too. So either way, I'm on board with keeping it in-house. That's what I, vote for. I would love to keep Matt G here simply for the fact that I don't want Jim Knowles to leave and snag somebody from us. And Matt did a very good job with the safeties this year. We saw McLean come in and make plays as a backup. So clearly he's doing something right. So
I got a question for both of you. First off, I'm going to point this out, and then I have a question for both of you. We already experienced something like this last year on the offensive side, from having Bob, and then he left and took the BC job, and then we hired Chip. And it seemed like it was the worst timing ever. This actually is better timing if you look at that, because they haven't even started winter conditioning or anything. But Coach Day just needs to make the right hire. And I do trust him. Like you said, he has the leeway to be trusted at this point. And my question to both of you is, what do you think happens if you promote Coach Matt or OG Walt? How will it affect each other?
That's a whole other dynamic. And it's something I thought about as well, because check this out. If you promote Matt G over Coach Walt's been there longer, right?
Yeah.
You know, he has seniority. But then again, I don't know. That's where you just got to trust Coach Day and the culture that he's built there. Not only the culture with the players, but the culture with the coaches. And you have to have a good enough relationship as the head coach with both of those people, to whoever you choose, pull them in a room and talk to them and tell them how valuable they are. And whatever it is, the speech that you have, that's where you rely on your relationship, with these other coaches, because that would probably bring about some questions. If Coach Walt wakes up one day and Matt Guerrieri is the defensive coordinator and he's sitting here thinking like, yo, bro, what else do I need to do? Because ask yourself this as a fan, Matt Guerrieri's done great, but what about Coach Walt? Has he not done a phenomenal job as well? And I get people can point out, Iggy and Burke, they had, Coach Walt's a hell of a coach. There's no way around that. The players absolutely love him. The dude's an OG. He recruits his tail off. He busts his chops, dude. So a very that could also get a little wishy-washy there as well. But I guess you just got to trust Day that he's going to be able to handle that situation.
If OG Walt becomes the DC, does he still work with the DBs, or do they hire a new DB coach? And how would they feel about that?
See, everybody's different, because some defensive coordinators like to still coach their position, and sometimes you'll see that they'll bring somebody in. If you look, Knowles' first 2 years here, he was coaching the linebackers. I mean, I know he had, Laurinaitis help him a little bit last year because they brought Laurinaitis in as a GA. But I mean, sometimes they'll stick with with their position group that they're used to, or sometimes they'll hire somebody else and then just want to be kind of like a head coach of the defense, just watch over everybody and not call play, just stick to calling the plays.
Yeah, that's a good question. But in today's day and age, with the amount of coaches that you're allowed to hire now that can come on, I would bet that they would hire somebody else to come in with corners, or promote somebody from inside staff that, quite frankly, we haven't heard of. You know what I mean? Who knows? Yeah. Because think of how many hires that have happened here at Ohio State where, to be honest, you've never really heard much about, like Matt Guerrieri coming in here. He wasn't some big name that everybody pointed out saying, hey, we got to go get him. I mean, people can say that now that they talked about him, but they're saying that after the fact. I never heard. I mean, yeah, he had coached here before. I heard his name a little bit, but people weren't flipping out like, hey, we got to go get Matt G. It just kind of, boom, popped up. We hired him, and we're like, oh, okay, that's who this dude is. And then he turns out to do an absolute killer job. So I just think this is Ohio State, man. We just won a national title. Coach Day can go get whoever he wants. Whoever he wants. You know what I mean? Like, that's just where I'm at, dude. The list of people that are going to be trying to knock down walls to be a corners coach or a defensive coordinator or whatever position. I mean, he's going to have his pick, dude. We just won a national title in a way that not any team has ever done in the history of college football. We chose the hardest route possible. We lost 2 games. I mean, everybody in the nation thought, well, that's a bust. You know what I'm saying? No, dude. Coach Day proved everybody wrong in the most spectacular way I've ever seen in my life. He's going to be fine. He'll go get whoever he wants, man. So,
think he's going to hire Paula?
Yeah, heck yeah.
He probably knows Jim's system.
I wanted to touch on that too. Mello, you brought it up earlier. Dude, chill out with the Paula stuff on Twitter, y'all. Yeah. I mean, leave her alone. She's been nothing but supportive, and that's her brother. Obviously, she's going to have his back, and people are talking crap about him. Like, put yourself in her shoes, and don't be calling her names. Like, grow up, man. Like, are y'all serious? Like, that's wild, man. So I sent her a message on Twitter and was like, hey, man, you'll always be a Buckeye. I appreciate she was nothing but supportive and respectful and all that. So that's wild. But it sucks. It does suck to lose Jim. Very unexpected. I didn't believe it up until the last minute. It's wild. But, when I think about it, he's always been a little different. Every time you listen to his press conference and stuff, he's just a little different. You know what I mean? Up there sipping his coffee, taking his time, answering his questions. Isn't decked out in Ohio State gear. You don't see him on social media having a word of the day like Coach Wald, or real active on social media supporting the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think he's just a little different. He loves coaching defense, and he wanted something different. And he's just doing his thing, man. But we're Gucci, dude. We are going to be just fine.
I just want to remind everybody, nobody heard of Chris Ash when Urban Meyer hired him as a defensive coordinator. I mean, and he did nothing but help us win a natty. So come on, guys. Like Devin says, Mello says, we are Ohio State. We'll find somebody.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just don't want this to affect spring portal. You know what I mean? So someone put out there that you have to ask Caleb Downs who he wants. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, that could be true. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it was Ohio Tate, actually. He posted that on his X account.
Yeah, if you think about it, our running backs were involved a little bit in getting Carlos Lachlan this year. So I think Day's real smart about what he does. Like, look how he handled Mello. You brought it up. Look how he handled this offensive coordinator thing last year. Yeah, like he just handled that. That was some wild stuff to handle, and he won a natty. He handled it and won a national title. Like, he earned our trust, Buckeye Nation. Like, he just did, man. I get it. It sucks. It would be easier. It would be more comfortable. We wouldn't have to worry about players leaving in the whole 9 yards. But let's just be honest, man. Even if players leave, we're the Block O, man. We're Ohio State, dude. Like, we're going to be fine. We're the winningest college football program in the last, 25 years. Okay. So we just won a national title, dude. Recruiting's off the chain. We got some fire freshmen coming in. We got some good pickups in the portal, and we're not done there yet. Yeah, it sucks. It's going to make it a little more difficult. But with everything that Ryan Day has already traversed through, I bet I'm going to be honest with you. And this might be a crazy take, but Ryan Day probably heard Jim Knowles was leaving, and it didn't even raise his blood pressure. He was like, well, whatever. Let's go find somebody. Like, think about what Ryan Day has been through. You think he was like, oh, my God, no, what are we going to do now? He was just like, all right, sounds good, Jim. Picked up the phone, made some calls, and he's already rock and rolling with figuring out a solution. And I think he's going to have a great solution.
So my thing is, this is a really good point. If Jim Knowles told the players he was coming back, and then he ghosted the coaching staff, do you even think he told the coaching staff that he was leaving? That he even told Ryan Day that he was leaving? This is going to be such a personal game November 1st. Like, I hope Penn State knows what's coming at them. I think this is going to be all gas, no brakes, cocaine, Scarface version of Ryan Day that they're going to see in the shoe.
Yeah, I hope so.
I might have to come to that game.
I'm waiting on the actual truth to come out, because right now all you have is a bunch of articles and a bunch of shows about people talking about what they think they thought they knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only people that know are Ryan Day and Jim Knowles. That's it. I mean, maybe some other people on the coaching staff, but I mean, the players just got told. You think they even know the details? No, they don't. They're celebrating a national title. They're worried about their decision they're making. They don't even have the ends on this. Like that hasn't come out yet, you know? So the storyline behind this, the truth behind it is not out there. It's just not. All you have is a bunch of I mean, that's what we're doing. We're on this show insinuating and talking about all the options it could be, but we don't know. It could be either one. Shoot, everybody's saying it's not money. Who the heck knows? Maybe Penn State offered him more and Ohio State wouldn't pay him. I mean, that is literally an option. I know there's reports that that's not true now. I think it's not true at all. I think Ohio State offered him. I heard Ohio State offered him the same amount that Penn State did. Have you guys heard that Ohio State released Jim Knowles from his contract? Did you hear that?
I heard that too. And I heard he has to give up like 30% of his pay or something. So it doesn't even make sense for him to take this lateral move because he's still going to be getting paid around the same amount. So that would, if that's true, that would mean that it's like personal. This is for sure personal. If that is the truth, that you're going to leave money on the table just to leave.
I think if it was like, hey, I want to be closer to my family, or this is my home, and it was amicable, you know, they would let him out of that. But like you said, this has got to be personal. There's got to be something behind the scenes. Probably him and Larry, you know, butting heads, and he wanted to leave, and he did a slimy way, in my opinion. Yeah,
the biggest narrative out there right now that everybody's running with is that after the Oregon game, you know, Ryan Day got at Jim Knowles and some stuff changed, and Jim Knowles never really got over that, and it caused some friction with Larry Johnson and all that, because obviously we know, I mean, after the Oregon game, we started getting more pressure on the quarterback. Yep. And now during that, I have thought that Ryan Day took his hands off the defense and let Jim Knowles do what he wanted to do. But now hearing this take, it sounds like Ryan Day stepped in and forced Jim Knowles to go more in Larry Johnson's direction and allow these rushers not to just contain, but to get after the quarterback. And that's the opposite of what I believed all season long. I had thought it was Ryan Day trying to control the defense, not letting Jim do what he does. Now come to find out it was the opposite. Ryan Day had to step in and be like, hey man, we got to make a change on defense. We're going to do this now. Yeah. And Jim Knowles didn't like it. Now, that's the rumor going around. Nobody really knows that right now, but that's the rumor going around. And, you know, it makes sense. It makes sense. I just don't buy like that's like the reason. It might be part of the reason. But again, this coaching staff won a national title together. If there is a bunch of friction to the point where they can't even stand to be around each other, I don't think you win a national title. But I could be wrong there as well. So who knows?
I mean, if it's that bad, it's better that someone leaves then before it destroys, you know, next year, before it's to the point where it destroys a team. So if he's got to go, he's got to go. I mean, we might be better off for it.
Dad, you bring up a good point that I never even thought about till just now. If what you just said is true, right, then we're probably better off with him gone. Right?
That's
we went away from what he likes to do outside, even though I don't know. I think he came up with using Caleb Downs how he was using him, and I think that was changed the defense completely. But if he only did that because Ryan Day got on him, then yeah, you need to go. I wouldn't even have offered. Once they said $3 million, I'd be like, you got to go. Go ahead, take that. I'm telling you, take that money because we're not giving you that. I mean, that's just my opinion.
If you guys look at the first year he came here, he blitzed all the time. We gave up a bunch of freaking long plays. Last year, it was all conservative, bend, don't break. And, you know, this year, I think it bit us in the butt again that he was cage rushing and, you know, we weren't getting any pressure. I think Dave finally had enough of it and said, you know, you need to bring some more pressure. And maybe it ticked them off so bad they didn't want to be here anymore. Who know, you know?
Yeah.
So we don't really know.
If you're not doing your job, right? Say you own your own business, right? So say you have a worker or an employee that a manager in a manager position, you give them all this stuff, the guidelines to help run your company and be the boss when you're not there. And he's not doing the job and you start losing money. You're going to be more inept to micromanage how he does his job. Am I not right?
Yep, 100%.
Yep.
Now, if you as a business owner, do you want to do that all the time?
No, it'll wear you down eventually. It'll wear you down and you'll let that person go or you'll tell them to move on. I've
That's
been
where
in
I'm
that.
at with Day. And I didn't think about that until you just said what you said. And it makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that when people started this narrative thing. I was like, well, if this narrative is true, then it means the opposite of what I thought was true to begin with. I thought
Right.
Day was being too handsy at the beginning of the season and had to back off after the Oregon game. And if this narrative is true, and now mind you, this narrative is coming from people that are right beside the team. You know what I mean? Like insiders and people that have talked to people. So there's some truth there, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And we've heard it for too long now that there's some type of disagreement there. There's a little bit. I just don't buy that it was the reason that he left. I think it probably helped get him out the door. But like I said, either way, we're Ohio State. We're going to be fine. I don't want to say I'm glad he's gone. It was time for him to move on. I wish that they could have worked it out, figured out whatever it was, because we won a national title with Jim Knowles as the defensive coordinator. So that's really hard to let go of as a fan. Like, you see that. But there's also example after example after example of really good head coaches at really good programs dealing with coordinators leaving every single year and still winning a title. You know what I'm saying? So Nick Saban, how many of his offensive coordinators got taken, and Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian, and he still turns around the next year and does his thing. So it starts with, okay, what's the program? Well, we're the Block O, right? The best program in the nation for football. Then who's the head coach? Ryan Day. He just proved he's the best coach in college football with what he just went through. And then it goes to, okay, well, what's your recruiting basis? How are you recruiting? Well, we're recruiting at the highest level you can possibly recruit at. We signed the number one class in the nation. I don't give a dang what 247 on 3 and all that stuff. We signed the best class in the nation. Yep. They can change the stars and all that around all they want to make sure Ohio State isn't number one and just everything across the board. And maybe I'm being a little homer here, but we signed the best freaking class in the nation. So we got the top 3 most important things, the top 3 things that can get you a natty every single season. It's been proven. Nick Saban did it. We lose a defensive coordinator. It sucks. But we the Block O, man. We're the. You know what I'm saying? We own that word, scum fans. That's ours.
Well, one thing that, Ryan Day has that most of these other teams don't have, culture. They have a winning culture there. They're, the brotherhood. Each year, they keep rolling people in and out. And where are we at every year? We're at the top.
Yeah. Yo, Paul Moss, appreciate you. 5 Buckeye Boys memberships. Yo, what's going on around here so there's just onslaught of people gifting memberships. What's going on YouTube? Is there something I don't know about? It used to be like super chats, and now it's going to, and I'm grateful for whatever. This isn't me complaining. This is me actually curious as to what's up with all the gifting of memberships. I freaking love it. I love it to death. But what happened there? Has there been a shift?
I don't know.
I
noticed that too as well.
Got so many members because they're gifting them. I love it, man. For sure.
I know on a couple of shows you got some guys that go in there and try to buy goodwill, with hosts that are trolls, but the people on here are buying each other memberships and they love each other in here and they're cool. So I'm happy for these people. Keep doing it. Thank you.
So how many phone calls you think Coach Day got within the first 10 minutes of the news breaking that Jim Knowles left?
Oh, dude had to shut his phone off.
Probably told him, reach out to the AD and he'll run it through me.
Hey, listen, man, listen. Poor Coach Day. I mean, my goodness, dude. Can this dude not get a break? Can he enjoy a national title for a couple seconds? I mean, good God, people. Like, come on, Coach Knowles. You can just wait a couple more days. At least celebrate with the team. At least get up on the stage and tell the guys you love them or something. I mean, come on, my dude. Like,
That's why I think it's personal. The way he did it. Like, you remember when the team up north won their little fraudulent natty last year, and then immediately Q drops that he's transferring to the Ohio State University.
Yeah.
Like literally 5 minutes after they won. So I feel like he did the same thing here, and he was trying to steal some of the thunder and glory away from the Ohio State program. But in the process, you also gave double birds to your players that you had. So, like, if I'm a player, I'm really ticked off with Jim Knowles right now and the way he handled this whole situation.
If you look, it's pretty selfish, man. You know what I mean? You took away from your players, and you took away from the team that, gave you all that money that, yeah, you did help win a championship, but man, you can enjoy it for one day. Let your players enjoy it. Go celebrate it, because it doesn't happen very often, man. It's not like every year you get one.
Karis, thanks for the membership. She said Super Chat is down. That's weird. Is it really?
Yeah.
I know
that's what I'm doing right now, checking. I don't know.
I know on iPhones, like the Super Chat thing.
So it just pops up like this with members only, but it doesn't have the actual Super Chat link. Like members could drop comments.
I know that's the way it is on iPhones. So anybody in the chat, are you guys on a computer watching, and do you see the Super Chat button? Maybe something happened with when they made us whatever, when they took away our stuff. Maybe I got to go in and click another button or something. I don't know what happened. But let me know. Does anybody in the chat see the Super Chat button? It's just a money sign up there somewhere.
I mean, the money sign is there, but when you click on it, right, it just leaves those two options, membership and membership gifting.
She said Lacey's on her Droid. So, Lacey, do you see an option where you can Super Chat? If you click on the money sign, does it say Super Chat, or does not give you that option? That's weird. Yeah, I guess I got to go in and try to fix it. Huh? Yeah, Super Chat button is there on my desktop. Okay, Bootzilla sees it. Cookie Monster said it's not there. Tyler said it's not there. Cheryl's lap dancing. Jim Knowles hacked the system.
No, I got a Droid too, and I got
a Droid. It's not on my Droid.
No.
Well, what's up with YouTube? But, golly, YouTube making everything so crazy. I'll fix it. I'll get off here and go into the studio and see what,
Dev? I'm more concerned about getting this Super Chat fixed than I am about replacing Jim Knowles, because I think
that's the main thing, man. That's the main thing. No wonder everybody's been just donating memberships to Buckeye Boys. They haven't had an option. That's all they could do. Hey, we appreciate the support either way, but I'll get the Super Chat thing figured out. We love Super Chats, man. But all right, Buckeye Nation, let's hear it. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're flipping out and you're not even going to watch next season because we lost Jim Knowles and there's no hope, no natty, we're not going to win any games. 1 being I don't give a dang, we're winning a national title next year, even if Ryan Day is the defensive coordinator. Where are you at? No, not with the Ryan Day thing. Ignore the Ryan Day thing, but where are you at? 1 to 10. How you feeling right now? I'll give you mine. I'm a 1. I don't give a dang, bro. I mean, in the moment, I'm like, that sucks, man. But I just have the utmost trust and faith in the Block O and Ohio State. I've seen a lot of 2s and 3s, 4s, 3s. Gotcha. Kenneth said 10 out of 10. Kenneth has given up all hope. Kenneth, the 10 means that or are you doing 10 divided by 10 equals 1? Kenneth picked a 1. Okay, we'll go with 1. 5, 10 being not sad. Okay, then you want to be a 1. Maybe I explained that wrong. A 1 is not sad. A 10 is, oh my God, we're not going to win a game next year because we lost Jim Knowles. Sully's at a 0. I love it. Yeah, I'm legit a 1. Mello, where are you?
I'm about a 2.5. And the only reason I go 2.5 is because depending who you hire for DC, all right, the process, which I trust Day completely. I'm really just worried about as long as we don't lose any key players on defense, I'm at a 0. But other than that, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think Penn State overpaid for him because they don't have the same caliber of players that we have. And especially they haven't been recruiting safeties the same way we have. So you're in a win now. You must win next year. This is what everybody's saying. Isn't seeing. They're saying that our defense was number 1, but they don't see how long it took to get to this point. They don't see the caliber of players we were recruiting, right? So in terms of all that, Penn State doesn't recruit at the same level as us, not even close. Like, the games are close, but that's just because we know each other so well. The talent level, no. Their defense is not our defense. And I mean, honestly, they had a problem with their passing game. So defense wasn't even their biggest problem to begin with.
Yeah. No, 100%. And it just blows. Maybe I'm biased, but I just cannot imagine being a coordinator and saying yes to James Franklin. I don't know, man.
He's gonna drop a big game.
Yeah, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being mean, but Sean, where are you at? 1 or a 10?
4. And I think a lot of it right now just has to do with till I see who they hire. I mean, are we going to take a step back? I think we might take a step back at the beginning because we're losing all those players. And, it might take somebody a little bit longer to get a new system put in there, depending on who they hire. So I'm kind of about to wait and see. So
that's the thing. I don't want a new system because I feel like we have a good chance right now that we could, if Julian Sayin is what people are saying he is, or whoever the quarterback's going to be, more than likely Julian Sayin, we have a chance to go back to back legitimately. So I would like to keep as much intact as possible in terms of the system and the scheme.
Yeah. Well, actually, breaking news, it looks like Kenyatta Jackson Sr. is the new defensive coordinator. He said he's going to be at the Woody next week in his coaching gear and attire. So, okay.
Are we still running a 4-2-5?
I think that's good news because here in the Buckeye Boys, we're going to have a lot of inside information now. We're probably actually going to have a little bit of say in what happens on the defense. So that'll be good for our channel, at least. I'm not sure.
I'm telling Brad, you better use 2 everywhere and anywhere.
Yeah.
I need him lining up off the edge.
Put him on the edge.
I need him in the coverage. I need him lined up at corner, everywhere. We need number 2. He's going to win the Jim Thorpe and the Heisman. That's how I need you to use him.
Yep. All right. On to the next thing that everybody's freaking out about, and I keep hearing this. They're like, I'm fine. I just don't want to lose players. It's all cool. Just who are we going to lose? All right. Here's Devin's take. Devin's take is Jim Knowles. Now, I understand that he was part of recruiting this year, but Jim Knowles was not the main recruiter for any of these recruits that we have on our team right now. He wasn't a position coach this year. James Laurinaitis took over the linebacker. Now, I know he was part of the Caleb Downs meeting, and I'm sure a lot of these recruits loved Jim Knowles, and they saw what he was running, the style that he ran, and he wanted, but, these players also have position coaches. And there's also Ryan Day and Chip Kelly there. And there's also their brothers that they're playing beside. So there's a lot more reason for players to stay than there are reasons for players to leave. The only reason they have to leave is because we just lost Jim Knowles. The reasons they have to stay are the Blocko, Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, Matt Guerrieri, James Laurinaitis, Larry Johnson. I mean, dude. The brothers that they played beside, the brothers that they got recruited with, we just won a national title. We're favorites to win the national title next year. Our NIL is absolutely through the chain right now. It's breaking records. You win a national title and you don't cheat, you break records. You don't have to shut down your clothing store if you don't cheat because people actually buy your stuff. It's wild, man. It's crazy. So there's a lot of reasons for our players to stay. So, I mean, I would argue that if a player leaves, I mean, he was thinking about leaving before Jim Knowles ever left. I don't know. I mean, I might be way off here. I very easily could be. I'm not that in tune with I'm not that close to the team to know everybody's feelings. And there might be a parent or a recruit parent to say, hey, Devin, you're way off. Jim Knowles was the reason we came there. But I have talked to a lot of recruits' parents, and they talk about the position group coach a lot, right? And Jim Knowles gets brought up some. Now, I'm not degrading what Jim Knowles did or anything like that. I'm just saying these players have relationships with more than one coach, not just Jim Knowles, you know? So that's my take on it. Mello, how do you feel about players leaving?
I'm worried a little bit. It depends on who you replace him with. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. But at the same time, I trust Coach Day 100%. That he knows his team, he knows his players. I think he's going to talk to the right players and present them with options, just like the same thing he did before he brought Coach Locke in. We also forgot about that, how our running back coach, Tony Alfred, left in the middle of winter workouts as well last year. So, like, this isn't new to Day. He's used to it. And, I mean, that's why I put Jim Knowles in the same position as Tony, except Jim Knowles won a natty for us, helped us win a natty. So he gets a little more respect. But other than that, like, I look at him the same.
It's not like
I think depending on who we hire, that is something to worry about. And if we hire the right guy, which I think we should go from within personally, unless Nick Saban just somehow pops out of retirement, which I don't think he would pop out just to be a DC, by the way. But if that's the only way I would go outside. Otherwise, it's either Matt or OG Walt for me.
Who is the you would only go outside for who?
Nick Saban. Nick Saban wants to come. Yes, we're taking you.
There's no doubt, dude. If Nick Saban wants to be the defensive coordinator, dude, oh my God, bro.
Him and Chip. What Ryan ain't got to do nothing here. We got to show up at the building. He just go out and raise money all day.
That'd be so stupidly insane, bro.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the Michigan fans losing their minds if that
happened?
Yeah,
listen, we need to go. Yeah, let's go get Nick Saban's defensive coordinator and then bring in Urban Meyer as a consultant. And then we can get Tress in as our special teams coordinator. Boom, son.
Back to back to back.
I mean, we're good, dude.
Yeah.
That's great. But, yeah, Sean, where you have players leaving?
I'm not worried. It's not like the head coach left. So a lot of times that's usually when you see the players going. And if people are going to leave, usually it's because they're not going to get any playing time. And they're stuck, they're stuck in the back of the rotation. So I'm not worried at all.
Yeah. And let's just let's just be honest. I know that like when a coach or a player leaves that it sucks. I hated seeing some of our players leave. I don't like seeing Jim Knowles leave. But the same thing happened last year, man. We lost coaches, right? We lost players that we didn't want to lose. And everybody was like, oh, what the heck we're going to do? Well, guess what? We won a national championship. Okay. Yep. So the same thing's going to happen. Are we going to lose any more coaches? I hope not. Can we? 100%. We could wake up tomorrow and Chip Kelly's got a offensive coordinator job in the NFL. Matt Guerrieri could leave and go with Jim Knowles. That could happen, right? We could wake up tomorrow and Caleb Downs could say, hey, man, I came here because Jim Knowles was a boss. I'm out again. I don't think any of that's happening. But even if it does, dude, think of what we went through last offseason. Just stop for a second and think about it. In the middle of, what was it, winter or spring training or whatever? Was it like a week before the spring game we lost Tony Alfred, our running backs coach? Now, mind you, it's not that big a deal to lose. I mean, running back coaches are super important, but I'm not sure how much Tony Alfred was contributing to the dynamic of our offense and whatnot. As you could see, Coach Locke's doing a way better job. But,
I don't even think that's debatable.
Yeah. So, sorry, fam. We thought we had a guest tonight. We'll figure out what happened there. Things happen. Life happens. We know that. So, we'll try to get him on again and, see how that goes. We've got some other guests lined up coming up. We got Mecca Dawn is coming on our show, I believe on Wednesday. So tune in for that. That's going to be a fun one, an exciting one. We got some other people. I can't remember. We got so many people coming on. Honestly, I can't remember who it is, but all right.
We don't want to put, I'm gonna just put this. That we don't want to put it out there because we know we got some haters out there that try to like stop some of our stuff. So we're not going to really announce too much pre anymore because there's people reaching out to people that's supposed to come on our show and is trying to stop it they have more followers than us, honestly. But so you guys just have to hit that notification bell and just tune in because some of the super big ones are going to be surprises. So that way we could avoid that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're ever thinking about starting a YouTube show, I will tell you that when you start a show, everything changes. Everything changes between the dynamic of the people that are your friends and whatnot. Now, obviously, here on Buckeye Boys, we're very close to Hiopod, Scoop, and several other people. Not everybody's like that, but you'll lose friends, and it becomes like a very competitive atmosphere. Us here at Buckeye Boys, we're not like that, man. We're here to have fun. We like to have fun, man. But if you want to play games with us, we'll play games back. I love games. I'm really good at games. I love it. So, But, all right. Final words, chat. Any final questions for us? Did Sawyer come on today? No, he didn't. I'm glad everybody knew I was talking about the other day. No, that didn't happen. But it's not out of the playing field yet. So I speak to somebody very close to him. So he was pretty busy today. If you didn't know. So I figured it'd be a long shot, but there was hope. So I'll keep trying. We'll try to get him on here. So, but chat, any final questions? Mello, Sean, any final words?
I know TJ had a family issue, so we are going to he reached out to me. He apologized. He feels horrible. But I told him, family's more important and we can reschedule with him. So he said he would. So
absolutely. Well, people, keep your head up. We're going to be perfectly fine. I'm telling you, we're running it back to back. I'm 100% on board. I think Julian Sayin is going to be a beast. He's going to be about 220 pounds by next August, and that boy can sling it. He just needed a little bit more strength and size. So I think we're running it back to back. I'm going to be honest with you. I just really.
Yeah. Emily, and everybody else, our plan for the off season is to get guests on here. We have a lot of former Buckeyes and other people in the YouTube atmosphere and the Buckeye atmosphere, getting them on the show. And here on Buckeye Boys, we're absolutely obsessed with recruiting. Yes. So it's that time. We started last year with position groups, but we're going to go all the way through this year. We'll start talking about, the wide receivers that have been offered, the linebackers. We'll dive into all that. We'll have interviews with some of them. You saw the recruits that we interviewed previously. We'll be bringing them back on this offseason to talk to them, see if we can't get some of these guys that are Buckeyes now, get them back on here and tell us how it's going. But, we're going to try to get some more recruits on here, keep you updated with recruiting. We're big on recruiting. Get out and maybe go watch some of these recruits play some ball, have some film to break down for you, the whole 9 yards. But if you could do me a favor, man, before you get off, hit that like button, please. I know I watch videos sometimes and forget. And also, before you get off here, take the time, if you would, and just share this feed on your Twitter and on your Instagram and your Facebook, the whole 9 yards. We want to grow this channel. So this time next year, we handing out natty tickets for free, even if they're $5,000 a piece. We're trying to hand some stuff out next year. So we need y'all's help to do that. Subscriptions and views help with that. We do this for fun. We're a fan channel. We do it for y'all. It's the off season. So obviously we don't, things go down what to talk about. We're still going to have our shows. We'll come up with topics everything. But if you're a fan and you want to come on here and you want to see what it's like to talk about Buckeye football on a live show, this is the show to do it on. We welcome you. Come on here and give it a shot. So on that note, it's the Block O, man. We're the Ohio State University. We lose them, we gain them, and we also win national championships no matter who we lose. So on that note, love you, Buckeye Nation. We appreciate you. Go Buckeyes. OH.
I-O.